Welcome back to the Jesse Rucinski show. I have no idea again why it's going back to glitchy if you're watching the videos, so I apologize. Everything was going good, and yeah, then suddenly one day it just did. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that again. So I do apologize for that, what it is. But today we're gonna change it up a little bit. I mean, it's not a complete alteration from you know the normal show that we do here every week, because don't worry, there's still idiots that run their suck about just about anything to try to make a point and be divisive and useless in the media, amongst other things. So we're still going to get to that, but I figured today we could talk about what just happened on Sunday, which was the Super Bowl, because I mean it's one of those really big days of the year. A lot of people, military, a lot of, don't have to go in, at least here, until noon. Like a lot of things open late the day after the Super Bowl too anymore. Businesses, banks, there's, depending on where you are. So, it's kind of a big deal. It's one of the few days where, everyone, for the most part, like a lot of people, let's go with, get together just to hang out and watch it, whether they're watching because they're football fans or watching just for the commercials and the Super Bowl because they're not big fans. Like, there's all different people, but the Super Bowl brings, so many people together because of all of those aspects of it. And, it's good to have like that one thing. Have I thought that, performances and stuff, slipped up and gotten way too divisive and political in recent years? Yes. Do a lot of people feel that? Yes, because they've gotten just the whole thing. But everyone still, no matter how they feel, a lot of people, I'll say, still get together and watch the Super Bowl and, make sure that they at least get to hang out, and have their parties and do all that. Even like there's times where I don't get to watch, there were times where I didn't get to watch like any football, but you best believe, even with my parents, especially like my mom growing up, dad before he had all of his troubles, like all that, but like we all still sat down and watched the Super Bowl together regardless, to see the game, see the halftime show. Like we did all of that like it was normal. So for me, it's a perfect thing to talk about because it seems like even, really my mom, like dad, I can't remember like the last time they actually watched a game. Not like I'm there and forever to know, but they don't talk about watching games. They don't ever catch games. They're always busy doing something else. And like, that was even the same really growing up, but we still watched it. So, it's just one of those things that, I think is very good for everybody. Disappointed that people try to, make it divisive and stupid instead of just letting it be what it is. But it's always the same people, if you ever pay attention, that are always doing it. Like it's literally the same people every time with a few add-ons here and there, but it's always normally the same voices, which is very disappointing to me because really could have been something really good. People didn't have to run their sucks, and I still say it was good. I thought the game was good. Thought the halftime show was good. Thought some of the commercials were there. I thought there was a bunch of misses, and it really just seemed really repetitive. A lot of it, might have, it was the same topic for like, 3/4 of the commercials, like between two things. Over half the commercials were about those two things. Over 3/4 of the commercials were just about that, which is kind of a bummer to me. I mean, the refs, they had their moments, but I thought it was better than they were in a lot of the playoff games. So I thought it was overall, a success, regardless of what idiots had to say. And I have a lot of feelings on a lot of it. I'm going to break a lot of it down for you. Again, change of pace. We never talk about sports really on here, except for, LeBron James, as people say it, and something I saw on TikTok that someone showed me. But, like it's always the bad things. And, I thought there was a lot of good. There's a lot of really, good stuff. Again, minus 90% of the commercials being electric vehicles or crypto. But to me, at least the ones, I mean, unless I missed something, there's just so many that seem that way. But I thought it was overall good. So I'm going to get into a lot of it. To include, the refs, both teams, their play, their players, stats, all kinds of stuff. commercials, people freaking out over commercials, media losing their mind, like halftime show. Like there's so much to cover. So I said we just jump straight into the refs, who again, I think they made it until what there's, I mean, compared to like some of the stuff we saw throughout the playoffs, where there was just bad in a lot of senses in a lot of those games. And we all have to agree on that. I mean, I don't think they threw a penalty until like what 3.5 minutes left in the first half. Like they were letting them play for the most part, which is good a lot of the time. And like everyone says, yeah, even officials, retired officials will admit that, like there's holding like almost on every play, and there's all kinds of stuff. Depends on what they call. I do think that holding play at the end didn't count. Like it made, you could look at it a million times. That was really sketchy, but two of the other flags they threw right there at the end actually, made sense. So there was that, and people were losing their minds saying that did, made the outcome of the whole entire game. But if you look back, think about when Higgins, was going down the sideline on that one, and yanked on Jalen Ramsey's face mask and caught that touchdown that they didn't call, even though it was obvious, and gave him that touchdown. I think if they called that, they went back far, they might not have scored. And that at the end wouldn't have made a single difference anyway. So there's a lot of, like that could lead up to, like, there's a lot of just, stuff that went there. I was just happy that it wasn't like just flag central on everything. I felt the officials sucked, even if they missed some calls, like some big times, like they sucked less than they did in a lot of the playoff games, which is just abysmal. And most of the people I talked to and stuff I've seen is people agreeing with that. So that's a good thing. I really think that it was actually, again, minus some really egregious, like you're looking at going, because there's going to be those in every game, but really there was one going for both teams. And if the first one didn't happen, the score would have been different, and they would have been up by 3. They could have went for a field goal. Like there's different things that could have, happened, in all of that. But we'll never know. I just think there was less blown calls last night than there was throughout most of the playoffs, which that's what I was hoping for. I really just went into it saying, don't let it suck and don't let the officials be the ones to decide the game. Again, a lot of people saying it one way or the other. Either way, there was equal on both plays. Both of them led to scores for both teams. So even if you wiped those two plays out, because those two calls there, I mean, that holding one and that led to touchdowns, and the outcome would still be the same with the same team. A lot of like fourth down stuff where they couldn't stop Cooper Kupp on that last drive. Like, the defense could have done that for the Bengals, and we wouldn't be having this conversation at all. So there's a lot of this, that, and the other. But for all the people that are like Hannah that said it was boring and they didn't like it, like I enjoyed the game. I know a lot of people enjoy, like at least like as much as I like seeing people just running the score up, it was good to see it like a normal scored game with like defense actually, having a say in something. It wasn't just who gets the ball last is going to win because they're just scoring on well. I like seeing those games. But the Super Bowl, man, like I was happy to see it be an actual competitive game. For people that, we're getting the first Super Bowl first, some teams getting the first Super Bowl in forever, like appearance. Like there's a lot of good stuff that went into it. And the refs, I didn't think took away from the whole thing. And that's the important thing. Now, player performances, there was a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good, like a lot of people did a lot of good things in that game. To start off with the Bengals. I mean, Joe Burrow, you got to think where he came from. No one wanted him. Left Ohio State. LSU took a chance on him. Look what he did down there. And last year he got hurt in his rookie year, and look what he did this year. He made it all the way to the Super Bowl, went 22 for 33, 263 yards and a touchdown. He got sacked 7 times. Like there was a lot that came right there. Yeah, towards the end of the game, I thought they were holding, them really good. But Joe, that's a good game. 66%. And 6,667, if you want to round up, 263 yards and a touchdown. I mean, for your first ever Super Bowl appearance in your second year in the league, I mean, that's good enough to win the game. And it really was there for the most part. Joe Mixon, 72 yards and a 6-yard, touchdown pass to become the fifth non-QB to throw a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl, which is always cool. I believe he might have been, first one just here in a few years. One just happened. And like, I'm always cool to see stuff like that. And I thought Joe Mixon played good. T. Higgins, 4 receptions, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, he had that one with the face, the whole handful of Jalen Ramsey's face, but it is what it is. He still had a good game, regardless of that. He made some big plays. And again, I remember most of these people are playing the first Super Bowl. So that's impressive. Jamar Chase, 5 receptions, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Oh, no touchdown. Sorry. Yeah. Can't read my own writing. Jamar Chase, I thought, played really well. And again, for his first one, Joe, like a lot of these guys were in the first Super Bowl, I was quite okay with that. And then we had a Woozy get 5 tackles and 1 interception. And free safety, Jesse Bates III, got 6 tackles and an interception. And then our kicker, rookie phenom, only kicker drafted last year, Evan McPherson, continued, and got that, stayed perfect. The record still went for how many he kicked in the postseason. Like, he was still good. And they were 3 for 14 on third down and 1 for 3 on fourth down. Only got 3 points out of the 2 interceptions that they got. And it was their third Super Bowl loss in their first appearance since the Super Bowl in '89 when they lost to the 49ers. And again, it's been a long time. It was a long time for them. Just, they looked good with, their former, coach and regime in there, but they needed a change. Like, Marvin Lewis couldn't get them past, a certain level, no matter who was there, no matter what the quarterback was. But like, they had some good players, throw up some big stats. The 2 interceptions, Stafford just threw a bomb, one of those 50-50 balls, and see who got in position. And the second one went off of somebody, but they still got him. It's just disappointing that they only got 3 points off of it, but it shows the Rams defense, what they got and what they were ready. So that was good. The Rams, Stafford, his first thing, good for him. Finally made it to a Super Bowl after 12 years in Detroit, That's really the only problem. But 26 for 40, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. We just went over. The one he was just throwing a 50-50 and it didn't work. Bad positioning, but throw, whatever you want to say. And that second one bounced off of someone. But he went from 0-3 in the playoffs with the Lions to 4-0 this year. And a Super Bowl champ in his first year with them. I just wish I could have saw Jared Goff's face, because that was probably one of those that could have been me. Instead, now you're in Detroit. Pretty much proves everything. Stafford was winning them games up there. He goes there, he wins the Super Bowl. It's Detroit, man. Cooper Kupp, 8 receptions, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, Super Bowl MVP. He was that last drive, for the most part. So I thought he deserved it. And he was the first wide receiver to win MVP since Edelman did in the Super Bowl when the Patriots beat the Rams just a few years ago. Odell Beckham, Jr., he got 2 receptions, 52 yards and a touchdown, and he was on a roll till, after that one, hurt his knee. He would have had a lot more at the rate he was playing. I really do think that they would have. And once he got hurt, I think that threw everything off. Just because he wasn't out there doing all that. So that one less big ticket, weapon for them to have to worry about covering. So I think that made a difference. Aaron Donald, 4 tackles, 3 QB hits, and those 2 sacks. And look at him right there at the end, stopping that 4th down, just wrapping an arm around the guy, and then the sack there. Yeah, he had sacks. He was all over the quarterback. He got that last hit there. And I will say Joe Burrow, that came really, really close to still being caught. So good way for it to end, though. Von Miller coming back to the Super Bowl there with the Rams, 2 sacks, 3 QB hits, and 1 pass deflection. And then defensive tackle Ashawn Robinson, linebacker Ernest Jones, and another linebacker Leonard Floyd got 1 sack each. And the Rams defense as a whole got 7 sacks, which, again, a lot of that was the second half. But, 11 QB hits, which are still good numbers. And again, I think their defense stepped up more in the second half than the first half. And head coach Sean McVay makes history. He's now the youngest coach to win a Super Bowl, 36 years and 20 days old. So good for him. Like, I mean, they were contemplating, they were talking forever and ever, but, him and Shanahan, seeing who was going to be the one to do it. And, they both lost their opportunities to do that, but it's good to see him get back and to do it this time. The second time, it was better all the way around. So, again, I was happy for him. Either way, I would have been happy. There's two young coaches, the new guard moving in. That's always good. The halftime show, we had Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, surprise 50 Cent appearance, and Eminem perform. I thought it was better. A lot of the ones that I can remember recently, even though I've seen a lot of complaints saying it was the worst thing ever. Like, I don't understand that. Granted, this is coming from the same people that were complaining about the twerk off and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. For LA, it just seemed, perfect. There was actually people performing, not like a million dancers and all this ridiculousness and gyrating and twerking and lip syncing, weird, references to Satan and all kinds of stuff like people were saying all over the weekend stuff. Last year, Beyonce running around, and the Black Panther, like protests against the police and anti-whiteness and all that. So it was good for me. And those people actually wasn't just a bunch of lip syncing and dancers and you don't remember anything else. It's just a million dancers. Did feel bad for 50 Cent though. There's a very large difference between 50, like all those decades ago, to now hanging upside down. No, I'm not picking on the guy. I'm just saying I would hate to do that now. So, but it was a good surprise to see him. It made sense too for him to be the surprise. I mean, did anyone see it coming? Probably. But it was good. I know I didn't look too far into it to be surprised, to not be surprised by it, but it was good to see him there. It made sense. Really the only political thing I got out of it wasn't even about the kneel. It was just, as everyone's talking about end racism and all this, like they have the only white guy in the whole entire performance of like 150 people come out last and perform for like 2 minutes. And then he was just there. The whole thing is about ending racism. Why do you got the token white guy coming out for 2 minutes and everyone like else gets a long time? And that's just trying to, nitpick because, well, I want to see Eminem perform probably about the third most out of all of them. I probably should have got more time than Mary J. Blige just because, relevancy and all that. But, it was still a great thing. I thought they all performed well. Mary J. Blige, it's been a while. So, my sister's, not so high on it. But yeah, overall, I thought the halftime show was actually very, very well. And I'm going to get into it later, but also the people freaking out about Eminem's kneeling down. I mean, I see it more as, kneeling down for, little Dre playing that piano and doing a tribute to Tupac, not just, I give everyone the finger and all of that. Now, will he come out and say something otherwise? Sure. But I mean, for when he did it and what was going on and the song playing there, I found it was more of a respect to Tupac. I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought this was, a better one because the demographic that they're going after grew up listening to Eminem, Dre, Snoop, like, a lot of them, and so, I thought it was good. And for that demographic, and I thought it was good for, them because it was something that it wasn't like, so just ridiculous and anti everything, and they just performed. It wasn't a bunch of dancers. It wasn't a bunch of this. It wasn't people like Wiley way to piss people off. One some that only was there, you could tell, just for the girls watching for the halftime show and the commercials because they hate football, but they're still going to be at the party. Like, I thought this was, for everybody, let's say, halftime show, which, again, I've hated a lot of them. I've been very, very, very clear about that. Like, I thought they all sucked recently. Very, I mean, except for, Shakira won the twerk off. So I thought the halftime show was, a success compared to most recently, just because it was what it was. They all actually rapped. There was no lip syncing. There was no big dancers. There's no big anything. It was just them doing their thing. So I appreciate it. Super Bowls, they were hit and miss for me, and sure people feel the same way about some. The Budweiser one was good, but I've seen them do better. The one with the Soprano kids, yeah, together doing that same route to get, that they used to do in the intro, whatever you want, the theme for the Sopranos. I liked that one. Hannah really liked that one. The Dolly Parton and Miley one for 5G and Team One, that didn't hit for me. Total one was okay. The Hillman's Mayo one, tackling things, that was really good. I don't really remember a lot of them because there were so many electric vehicle commercials, like so many. It seemed to be the only thing that they even, that and crypto. And the one for Coinbase, the little thing just bouncing around the screen, was like, that was a minute of my life that I'll never get back. So, there were so many of those. I just didn't find them to be the best, lineup of commercials we've seen, just because it was just repetitive, like the whole time. They're literally just throwing electric vehicles and crypto at you nonstop. No Bud Night. I mean, we got to see NFTs and LeBron with crypto, even though most people, over half the country really can't stand him. So when they see him, they just tune it out. But I mean, again, he was just in a crypto one, which didn't help because there was literally, like, it seemed one or two of them every commercial break. It was just unrelenting. And I loved, by the way, the one that everyone's talking the most trash about, the flaming hot Doritos and Cheetos. That was my favorite. Or at least in the top three. Like, that one was on, because the Hellman's one was good. I just wish Pete Davidson actually got tackled, but I thought that one was great. Before we get to the ones of people having strokes, like, there were people that are actually like adults, like meteorologist Danielle Dozier. Okay, the Doritos Chester Cheetah commercial with the animals is my favorite so far. Did you see how fast the sloth moved? That's what I said. And then photojournalist Diane Lewis, flaming hot Doritos as the best so far. Love the beatboxing animals, because that's all you're supposed to do. Beatboxing animals, this, that. Done. Like, entertaining, not like taking it so literally and freaking out. Like, a lot of these people having their heads have exploded because, there's only a little and barely noticeable "do not feed animals" on the bottom of the screen. Like, there's a laundry list of people who have absolutely lost their mind. Like, it is a commercial. And they did put "do not feed" like animals. How many people are going to run up with flaming hot Doritos and see a sloth or a bear? Like, or any of the animals. Like, but people still had to lose their mind because that's all anyone knows how to do now. Like, former New York Times reporter Stuart Elliott, "Don't feed Doritos to animals," says spot that shows animals eating Doritos. Ugh. Like, it's just for entertainment. They're telling you not to do it. Like, you should see all the warnings they put on all kinds of commercials. Just throwing it out there. Arizona-based sports reporter Kellen Olson, "Please do not feed animals Doritos or put VR headsets on them." I'm to say, pretty sure the thing that was like a mannequin type, like, thing that of an animal, like, it wasn't an actual animal that had the VR headset on. So yeah, good job, idiot. Though, good job for really paying attention, just exploding, because that's all you people know how to do. Philip Michaels tweeted, "Doritos, our snack food gives animals psychotic fits, but it's probably okay for humans to eat." Like, that wasn't a psychotic fit I've ever seen. What they were alive, homie. Reporter Rick Gregg, "Please, for God's sake, do not feed wild animals Doritos or anything else." Like, there's a reason that they said it. It's just a commercial. Like, not to take everything ridiculously over the top. Lana Campos, "What a terrible Doritos commercial. Giving highly processed foods to animals was cool. Do not feed the animals," in all caps. Traffic reporter Jen DeSalvo, "All of these animals would not live in the same forest, by the way. Thank you, biologist husband." And Brett Coleman, "POTUS, please sanction the hell out of Flamin' Hot Doritos for what they all just put us through." Like, it's just a commercial, people. Like, your heads don't have to explode. They're not saying go find sloths and give them flaming hot Doritos and Cheetos. Like, that's nowhere near where any of it was going. And someone, like, freaking out, playing President of the United States to sanction them for that commercial. Like, I'm sorry your feelings get hurt because, things like that. Like the sun came up today. Oh no. You have to freak out about that. Like, no, it's okay. I gave you the warning because they know people are dumb, regardless. Like those things are perfectly normal. They are a commercial. Like that's all it was. Again, animals that wouldn't even live together, all of them there. Like, what's the point? It was just a commercial. And heads exploding and freaking out. I don't know, why am I freaking? I'm not even really freaking out. Like, I'm not even surprised that they did it. Like it's a Doritos commercial. Animals that aren't even live in the same like forest together, obviously. Like I'm freaking out because it was a black woman that dropped in there beatboxing to Salt and Pepper Push It. Like it was just a like commercial, like it's just shut up. Like really, just shut up. That's all you really need to do in these situations. Like grow up and shut up. Like just explode and actually pay attention again because no one put the VR headset on an actual animal. So, I was not an animal. I was like a mannequin that was going to get crushed at a garbage facility there that got saved. Like not real animals. So unless I missed something, but there are so many crypto commercials, like it was hard for me to even pay attention at one point. But for the love of God, like heads exploding over like just that of all the stuff going on in the world. You're mad about that, but still have the disclaimer. Like everything else in the world, you have to put disclaimers on because people walked around eating Tide Pods and stuff. Like, do not eat. Like that's still there. People like it's. And that brings me to one of my favorite people on the planet to finish it all out. And that's Joy Reid. Because the only thing she knows how to do is be a divisive racist and try to divide everyone. And just that's all she spews, which is why her ratings absolutely suck. In case she doesn't know, like when Rachel Maddow's beating you, you're terrible. Like when one show on another network is beating your whole primetime lineup, like your divisive stuff isn't working, and maybe you should like use your brain and stop spewing this stuff. But yeah, she's been like just exploding since Nick then, claiming the NFL is trying to sanitize blackness from the Super Bowl. So I'm still trying to figure out like everyone performing on the Super Bowl halftime show except for Eminem was black. They're doing throwing out that LA rap music from all of that, which is their thing. And like some of the big players, like look at all the guys I mentioned on defense, black. The wide receivers, same thing. Like I don't know, like she just again can't help herself. She compared Eminem's kneeling to Kaepernick's kneeling, and claiming that the NFL is strangling forms of blackness because like it had again. I haven't seen a lot of people yelling about it. Like it had like I really like it was he got done with his thing and he let Dre do his thing and kneel down like a Tupac tribute. Like that's what I feel it was. Wasn't anything about going out and kneeling during the national anthem, which that's what pissed everyone off. It pissed me off. There's a lot of people I know off because they're trying not to throw all that divisive stuff out there so people can just sit down and enjoy something and not be pissed off all the time because maybe their bottom line said, well, you're pissing off the wrong people. But like he's kneeling for, he wasn't kneeling to disrespect the flag to be seen as disrespectful, or anything. Because how could you even take what he did during the performance to be doing that? It was nowhere near anything. It was a halftime show. Like Cap did it, and people are like, what? I know people that died with that casket draped over the casket when they got home from dying overseas. They all get one when your family member dies, like no matter what their service they're in. All like, I'm sorry, a lot of people find that to be offensive, and it's because of that flag in the country that you have the ability to be a crybaby, baby back, what. So, yeah, I don't find them to be completely near each other, but what do I know? And a quote from our dear friend Joy Reid: "The NFL has always tried to sanitize blackness, especially during the Super Bowl. From the halftime performance of everyone on the field was black except for Eminem." To players taking a knee, because it's divisive and pisses people off and doesn't actually do anything. Maybe they're trying to, not be 100% political because it's not working very well and people find it disrespectful. and especially does not want to dabble in the culture wars now and took off the conservative fan base. No, they already did that. It didn't work out well for them. And like, I'm sorry, most people like that I talk to agree that it is kind of disrespectful to kneel when the flag's there. It's the thing that gives them the right to piss and moan as much as they do, because they have all these rights and freedoms under the Constitution, the flag, and all of that things. You should look at how far you've come, not just keep pushing this divisive jargon, which is why everyone now says race relations are worse now than they were when Joe got into office, because like it just keeps getting pushed out there on people, and idiots are bad enough to buy it. But if people were that bad, why are so many people fleeing to get here? Because apparently only idiots in this country can actually fall for like the whole country's giant racist cesspool. Yet people in other countries are like, yeah, no, well, we're going there. Why? The best place they have to make the American dream. Like, it's just dumb. Guest on the readout, Jason Johnson, which explains why Kendrick Lamar's line, "And we hate the popo," was noticeably scrubbed last night. With readouting, "Don't think we didn't notice." Because again, it's stupid, it's divisive, and it'll piss off over half the country. Like, they edited out a lot of things from all of those songs. It's amazing how that's the one line that she picked up, that they picked out on her show. Like, they picked that line that was cut out. We have all the stuff that got cut out. That was it. Like, this is why there's so much hatred and bile going around, because idiots like this. But also added that she has since fell out of love with football due to allegations of racism. So you fell out of love in the last 10 minutes. Good for you. And the whole thing was, I fell out of love with the game because it just became very clear that this was a sport with a lot of black people in it, but not black people with power. No coaches, when there is coaches. Very few people allowed to get into the quarterback spot. Like Warren Moon's like really famous, Dante Culpepper, Cordell Stewart, Donovan McNabb. Do we have RG3 before he went and got his dumbass hurt? Jacoby Brissett, Deshaun Watson before he got himself in trouble. Come on, who are all those really high paid quarterbacks right now? Oh, wait. Lamar Jackson's in that list. And our dear friend for the Kansas City Chiefs, star quarterback, I'm just going to say, looks like a troll doll, but we all know who I'm talking about. He's in all the commercials. He's everywhere. Making like $50 million a year, but I mean, like there's black quarterbacks all over the place. The highest paid one is right there. Don't forget Kyler Murray as well. I mean, lots of black quarterbacks. We have to get into the running back and all that game. Like, wide receivers, there's a lot more black, men there than there is white, but you don't see us throwing the race card everywhere. But I mean, come on. Kyler Murray, always talking about him. Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Like, there's three right there that are literally at the top of the game right now. Rodgers is on his way out. They have Josh Allen. He's on his way up. But Justin Herbert, but the white guys, they're on their way up. Like a lot of the top ones in the league are black right now. So I really just don't know where the hell they're getting out of that. And there's a lot of black, coaches that have had chances and the team sucked, or there's a lot of assistants. And, is that a problem? Yes, but does it come down to qualifications and stuff? And I think when people are talking about people like Byron Leftwich should go, like, possibly be a new coach somewhere. Like, he was the offensive coordinator, who was another, quarterback for the Jags there for a while. But, I don't think he was ready, really, in my opinion, when people are talking about people like him, because I've seen his name come up. Like, he was the offensive coordinator, sure. But then Tom Brady came in, and we all know Tom Brady was doing what Tom Brady wanted to do. So Tom's gone. Now he has a chance to work with someone. And, I think he just needs more experience after having, those 2 years of Brady being Brady. And really, I'd rather see him take another, couple of years of coordinating before he gets that shot than jump in there too early and fail. But I mean, what's his name? Let's say it was Lovie Smith. Yeah, Lovie Smith. He just got hired as a head coach. There's the guy that coached, Tony Dungy won Super Bowls with the Colts. There's a guy after him. I could see his face. I can't think of his name. Like, it does like happen. If you look at other sports, like the predominantly black with the coaching and everything. So just throwing it out there just for the fact of throwing it out there. And that coach thing really hurts my spirit. It's difficult for me to love the game. She continues. Anything that these guys do that is disruptive, I'm for it. But there's so many of, like, I just named off that many without thinking. Look at all the wide receivers, running backs, like nose tackles. Like, there's so many. Like, I don't get it. Columnist Michael Harriot criticized the NFL and Eminem for protesting for the black movement, while the protest meant nothing in regard to his kneeling. It's probably had nothing to do with it. I'm sure there was some because he has gotten political, but he successfully got applause for doing something that meant nothing. Pretty sure they're applauding the performance, but who's counting? Anyone that isn't just a racist, vile human being like these idiots. And I think that's kind of like the epitome of what the NFL has become. They scrawled in race and racism in the end zone, but they will kick black people out of the league for talking about or pointing out the problem that racism gives America, right? So I think he did it, but it doesn't mean anything. It's too late now. Cap got thrown out of the league because he's a talentless jackass. And then when the league set up a whole entire thing for every league team was going to have someone there to see him do his tryout, he moved it at the last second. Only like 5-6 people got to be there, 7, whatever the hell it was, just to be Cap. And they turned around and said that, same things that a lot of people do to get jobs. And all these athletes have done forever. I know they want to check your physical well-being, your mental well-being, and all of that before they give you millions of dollars. Sorry. I got traded, a lot worse. Joined, Marine Corps for a lot less money. And he continued to run his suck. That's why he's not there. Because he wasn't that good. Once Harbaugh left, the magic was gone. Sorry, guy. Had nothing to do with that. Like, you're an idiot and you piss people off. And you didn't do any of it until you were a backup quarterback. Then suddenly, you're Mr. Oppressed. Well, pretty sure you got adopted by white family. Scholarship. NFL made all that money. Like, a lot of white people helping you. Well, it's not as bad as you think it is. You went out of your way to be divisive, like your socks with the pig wearing a police outfit. Like, you went out of your way to cause all kinds of chaos and mayhem and just divide everyone. That's why you're not in the league anymore. Because you're a talentless leper. You lost your talent. You weren't that good without Harbaugh. And then you went out of your way to go out of your way to piss everyone off. That's really what it comes down to. Reed maintained that sports has always been political, and the NFL continues to ignore black issues in spite of 70% of the players being black. That's because a lot of people, from the Little Waynes to actors to players, saying they never, dealt with a lot of it. And I hate to break it to you, like, sports has never been anywhere near the level of political that it has been the last couple of years. Once the progressives and then put their, laid the hammer down to just make it as political and spiteful and divisive as they could, and to make half the country out to be racist Hitlers. Yeah. Sorry. 70% of the league is black. Let's go to the NBA. Well, that means that should be racist. Why? Because they ain't giving white people a chance at all. What do you know? No one complains about that. Why? Because they just have to keep throwing stuff out there to make it seem like it is just to, throw it out there. And sorry, they're not trying to piss off anyone that's just sitting there to watch the damn thing, because the thing's about getting ratings, which gets the sponsors, which makes them money. And, they're tired. They lost a lot and they're tired of pissing everyone off. What the hell is so wrong with that? Well, a lot of us enjoy seeing the national anthem, but we can't anymore on TV because, unless we watch NASCAR. Well, they're kneeling and it pissed everyone off. So then, like, I thought it was dumb, but I still would like to see the national anthem. And that's a very touching moment. It still touches me, but never been this political. I don't care who the hell you are. Never ever. Like, this has been full, like, throttle down ridiculousness for a very long time, a couple of years now. And apparently they saw the bottom line. Well, that's not working. So they stopped ramming it down everybody's throat and they're still letting people do it. They're not kicking you out if you kneel. They're letting you do your thing. We just weren't showing it on camera. Like, so you could still do it, but you won't piss off half the country. It'd be like it. Like there's really no winning with these people. But podcaster Bomani Jones, who I used to like when I watched that show at 5 o'clock on ESPN. Pardon the interruption. No, that was the one that comes on after whatever that show was on at 5, and he was on there. But now he came out saying that's a story of American racism. It is in spite of good sense and even in spite of your potential to bit profit. Like, just keep spreading this stuff, man. Like, people lost respect for you. The ratings for the networks that you're on keeps going down. Like, just keep spreading it. Yeah, because where's it gotten us except into worse shape than we were, have been in a long time, and like worse off than people even felt before, like Trump got in. Like, it's just bad. And you guys just keep pushing it, which isn't helping anything. It just keeps people pissed off all the time. But yeah, when it comes down to the QB thing, like I went over it. Like in the numbers of players per capita, like in leagues by race, like they win. In the NBA, they got the NFL, like they win, and a lot of them with numbers. And there's a lot of coaches in other sports that aren't white. You don't see us throwing a fit. Could there be more? Yes, but are a lot of them, even especially coming out of like garbage situations in teams where they shouldn't get the job, or they go to a team and like I can't even think of his name. I could see his face, but when he was with the Jets, I mean, it was the Jets. That's why it went bad. Regardless, like it was just bad. And I thought Brian Flores, I thought that one was garbage because they kept getting better throughout the time. They had one of the best defenses going. He gave them nothing to work with. And I thought it was bad look on the Dolphins to fire him. So apparently they wanted to pay him to lose. I wouldn't be surprised. So they can get a better draft pick. Like that one, I thought was completely ridiculous. And I hope he get, whatever the situation. Like, I don't think he deserved to be fired just because, play on the field was improving. Like they were getting better every year. So I'm all for that, but people like Byron Leftwich, some of the coordinators, I mean, like I would take the extra time to keep, working with people and keep, honing my craft, because there were some people that were only in like, the top coordinator position, went from being like QB's coach to the whole defensive offensive coordinator, like, and they went and were a head coach and crumbled, and it didn't work no matter what color they were. Like it went terribly for them. Yeah, especially with someone like Byron Leftwich, went from Tom Brady. Like, of course, like take your time, dude. Well, like see who you're going to get in there next, who's going to be the quarterback. Get a couple years working with him because Brady was doing Brady's thing. It. We all know it. Like I think a lot of them, like they did jump, and we saw so many of them fail when they did it. So I've never been a big like, oh, he's a coordinator for like a year. Now look at him. Like, yeah, I think you need more time than that, especially because the teams that are hiring like these coaches are normally like the Detroits and the Jets, and the Dolphins for the longest time were a joke. Like they're just going like Houston. Like there's a lot of places that went through a lot of people, regardless of what they were. So I'd rather someone stay where they are and keep getting more experience than going to a garbage team when they don't have a lot of experience. And, then failing and having to find a coordinator job and going back down. Like that's my whole theory on it. Is there probably people getting screwed because of that? Yes. Of course there is. There's always going to be idiocy like that, no matter what aspect of the world you're in. But I mean, the full-fledged panic attack that they're having, like, and Joy Reid going out and saying it's all about, like, no, Joy, like, just shut the hell up for 5 minutes. Like, I can't wait until they get canned. The ratings are so bad, I don't know how they're still on the air. But, just stop spewing that divisive shite, nonsense, garbage, bile, sputum, whatever, you puss. I don't care what you want, dumpster juice. I don't know. But them just going after that and like it was just, we didn't have any of the political commercials that we had with all that stuff. We didn't, like, it was so good. And then there's people, their heads blowing off because of the Doritos commercial and saying that they're scrubbing blackness. Like it was, except for Eminem, they were literally all black. Like it was their moment to have that West Coast hip hop out there doing their thing. Guess what? Everyone had to cut lines out of their songs. So they chose the one, not talking about, not liking the police and taking it out. Guess what? There's bad cops everywhere too. But I mean, like throwing a fit and saying it's all because of racism. Like you people that say that are the exact reason why there's you know, so many why racism is like why people think race relations are at the worst time, they way worse than they were when Biden took office, because no one's trying to actually put anything together. Everyone, to include the whole administration, is doing things to divide everyone farther. And it's a damn shame because it doesn't have to be that way. But sadly, it's the way it is. But I still can't like freaking out that bad over that commercial and then pulling the full race card. Yeah, but it's Joy Reid, and what the hell would Joy Reid have if it wasn't for the race card and just being a miserable waste of like just airtime? Uh why do you think things keep getting worse? Because of people like that, people that listen to it. So that I'm going to jump off. Sorry for going so long, but again, I enjoyed the game. Just the idiocy that came after, because I had to, after it was all said and done, there came idiots' heads exploding and pulling the race card and everything, because it just couldn't be just a good night for America where everyone just sat there and enjoyed the damn thing. Everyone had to find something to pull the race card on or something. And again, I know it's MSNBC and Joy Reid, so of course that's what they do. But I just was hoping for better, I guess is the best way to put it. I mean, I was expecting it, but I was just hoping that we could just have at least one night. But that I really am. I'm going to jump off. Please don't forget, no matter what you're listening on, to please share it out onto your own social platforms. Share it out to pages if you want, for other people to get a hold of it. That sharing helps out. I got to get these numbers keep growing. Not as high as they were for that one that over doubled everything. Like, so keep sharing it. Keep getting more people on there. Don't forget, Tuesdays and Fridays is when I do this. So keep a lookout. They'll be online no later than 4 o'clock, depending on conversion time and uploading. Shouldn't take that long at all. They'll always be done by then. So be on the lookout for them. And please, Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, share them out. Radio Public, Pocket Casts, Amazon Podcasts, Audible, tune in, whatever you're on, please share it out and follow along and share the, the YouTube, Rumble, Right only gets a link, Cloud Hub, Getter, Parlor still gets one, like all of them get a link, but follow along on YouTube and Rumble are the big ones. You can watch it there. You can comment there. Don't forget to comment on all the audio and stuff. Please, please, please share them out. Let me know what you think. And I'll be back on Friday to not talk about the Super Bowl, because I'm sure something really dumb will come up, and I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to cover. But be good to each other. Please share it out. Also, if you can go onto the Anchor page and sign up for the monthly support, to help this thing start actually finally paying for itself over a year later, like that'll be immensely helpful. So please, that's on the page too on Facebook. So if you see that, share that link out and do what you can. If you can't, and if you can, I understand, but be good to each other and enjoy, someone's company. Be a decent human being, learn some stuff. And until Friday, my friends, peace.